Shoot, I think I got some in my mouth. What's going on YouTube? Levi of Old Iron Off-Road, and today we're going to build a rock crawler. If you cycle through our videos, you'll see that we've been collecting some parts for this thing for the last little bit. We've got a custom Dana 70 front axle that we've built. We've got a 4-to-1 Dana 300 sitting on the bench. We've got a little 4.3 liter V6 setting there. We've got a 4L80E that we're going to throw a full manual valve body in. And then we have this guy, 1966 Scout 800. That's actually been pieced together. It's actually two trucks that have been cut in half. The front half was rusty off one, the back half was rusty off the other. The two got married, had a baby. We're gonna build a rock crawler. So I don't wanna talk too much and don't wanna make promises that I can't keep about the plans for this truck. The plans, obviously, one promise I can keep is we are gonna turn this into a rock crawler. The intent and purpose behind it is, hopefully, ideally, in a perfect world, to make Ultimate Adventure 2024. Now, obviously, that's a lot of that's out of my hands as far as the attainability of that goes. I have to have the vehicle built. I have to submit a formal application. I have to get accepted. I don't know the whole process, but I know that, like I said, it's out of my complete control. I can't just say, "Hey guys, I'm here to do UA." That's not how that works. But that is the 100% intention, is to have this guy finished and actually have a submitted application for UA 2024. And maybe get on. That would be amazing. So with that in mind, we don't have much left to do but build it. So I think the first order of business is to just tear into this guy and try to knock some ugly off of it. Dana 70 front axle, 14 bolt rear, 513 gears, 4L80 tranny, 4.3 liter TBI V6 engine, 4-to-1 Dana 300 transfer case. Seems like a good place to start. Lots of custom tube work, lots of metal work. It's gonna be a good time. So without further ado, let's jump into it. About time for a new Milwaukee. Matter of fact, I think I have one in the mailbox. I need to go check. It's been a good one. I think the battery contactor loose is all it's doing. Still irritating. Oh, and the keeper for the sockets goobered up. It was in the mailbox. Shiny news. Spicy. Oh, it's nice that the socket doesn't come off now. This goofy old bumper off the front. It is heavy. Yeah. Put some penetrating oil on these guys. I know they're going to be ugly. Seafoam Deep Creep. That's my go-to. What's yours? So yeah, I had big plans for today. Came home from church. It was raining, but the sun's trying to come out. We're gonna put a couple hours on this thing. I'm hoping to get these removed and go ahead and start cutting the front section off of this. We're actually gonna remove all of the inner fender structure and the core support. We're gonna build a tube structure for it. And I may have mentioned that like we did on the little red 80. If you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave a link down in the description. Probably one of my favorite builds as far as a off-road oriented 8800 has gone to date. But we only got a couple hours, so let's get to it. Quickest way to get the rust off of it. A little interesting thing I noticed as we've been working on this truck. See the leaf spring, the main leaf has sheared at some point. Somebody's welded it back together and tried to weld it here. I wonder if somebody was actually driving that thing when it let go. I bet that was a cheek clincher. So, it's pretty gross on the inside, but honestly and truthfully, some people probably think I'm crazy. Probably one of my favorite parts is taking them getting them when they're this disgusting, and just cleaning them out and getting them to what you would consider a blank slate, so that you can kind of see what you're working with and get a mental picture of where you're headed. I'm gonna get all this scuzz cleaned out of the inside, get the dash pulled out of it, get all this wiring and randomness out of it, and literally just get it to a blank shell. And I think that'll be a good stopping point for today. Shoo! She grows, boy. So, you can clearly see that animals have been treating this like the Ritz-Carlton. I should probably wear a mask when I'm doing this, but I don't. Shoo! It's definitely not the worst one I've ever cleaned out, but so I think the worst Scout that I've ever had to clean out stripping was one from Arizona. Eric Krieger and Mr. Jonathan Jackowitz brought it to me, Pennsylvania. I actually traded Eric another Scout for it, and I'm pretty sure a Chupacabra was living in it. Like, there were some of the biggest turds I've ever seen that were like rodent turds. I don't know if a big gopher was living in it or what, but man, it was nasty. So, anywho, the things we get ourselves into. We'll keep the dash. We're not going to use this dash. So the cage that we're running is actually was built for an 80. So it hugs tight to the dash. And the intent is to run the cage down. We're going to build like a really nice flat dash for it. It's going to be a nice center console with our shifters and everything. Big plans, man, big plans. Shoot, I think I got some in my mouth. Well, I'd say that's a pretty good start. We've got the front end cut off. We've got 90% of all the goofy stuff, factory goofy stuff, cut off of it. Left us with a pretty blank slate. I'm gonna go through and take a pressure washer and a turbo nozzle and just pressure wash all the junk off of the inside. We actually managed to clean the inside up pretty well. We got all the leaves and trash swept out of the inside. And as you can see, somebody actually already started patching on this thing. It's got some new panels, it's got new rockers, it's got new floors, it's got the new trans tunnel support. The only thing I did notice is they dropped the back of the pans too far down. You can kind of see how that angle runs downhill. So I'm gonna have to trim out all the welds. And they actually stitch welded it in instead of spotting it. So that should make it a little easier to cut the back of the floor loose. Get it picked up. We've got to tighten up the quarter panel. The quarter panel the quarter panel's not really welded on. Everything's just kind of tacked. But again, I think this will be a really good one to cut up and make my own. We are gonna paint it. I'm not gonna get crazy with the paint job, but I do at least want it one color. This is gonna be a cool truck. We're gonna put some effort into it. Man, it's hot today. A little after work therapy. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon out here doing a little work. A buddy of mine just dropped this guy off. Now, normally I would 100% build my own roll cages, as we have always in the past, but he actually had built this for a customer, and the customer decided they didn't want it. They wanted a different design, blah, 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 blah. I got a good deal on it, too good to pass up. Anyway, so I sanded this guy down. I'm gonna clean it up and shoot some epoxy on it. We're gonna go ahead and get it set in this guy. Another piece of the puzzle. It's hot. I'm not gonna bore you with me out here sweating like a crazy person in a mask and all that good stuff, spraying epoxy, but she came out pretty good. Good enough for an old roll cage. We may put some paint on it, we may not, I don't know. But tomorrow we're gonna get this top off, get this thing setting inside of it just so that it is stored and out of the weather. He said I wouldn't worry too much about that, but it was raw metal. So anyway, stay tuned. Well, it's Saturday. It is hot. Summer is in full effect. We're out here in the shop today. Oddly enough, we've got some Ultimate Adventure on the old computer. We got the roll cage sprayed the other day. It's been curing in the sun. I'd intended on getting it put in, but just haven't really had the time to do so. So I think today, while we've got a minute, we're gonna at least attempt to make that happen. But the first thing that I need to take care of is, previously in this Scout's life, somebody had attempted to half-heartedly install, oh, ow, lifted it, that won't happen. Somebody had made an attempt to half-heartedly install some roll cage legs, as you can see. And now these plates are actually like kind of stitch welded to the tub, so hopefully these steps are in really good shape. I'd like not to have to hack them out for the sake of putting a roll cage in. Luckily we got a top on this guy, a little bit of shade, because as usual I'm working on my own stuff outside. Whatever, I need to sweat. I'm middle-aged and overweight, so a little sweat won't hurt. Surgically remove these guys, top off, get the cage installed. Let's make it happen. So I'm hoping this comes out reasonably well. Luckily, looks like whoever welded this didn't have the greatest of welding abilities, so we're gonna hope that it comes out. Luckily, got some shade in this guy. It's not too bad on this. It's hot outside though. Yeah. Ha ha! Victory! Sweet. And the floor is actually not rotted out underneath it, so call that a win. One down, 4 more to go. Get this roof off, get the cage set in place. Be a good day. Victory. Sweet, sweet victory. Got that taken care of. Luckily the floor is still in really good shape underneath those. I'm gonna squirt some paint on the bare metal spots. Top's unbolted, get it set off, cage set in, put this guy to bed. tight. She tight, boy. So this cage was actually built for an 80. If the windshield frame folded down, we would be in there, but I've managed to spring it forward enough, I think. It should drop in here shortly. Glad I ducked. Ooh, boy. It's in there. It's gonna have to come back out a time or two more. Obviously, we've got some shiny work to do at some point, but for now, the cage is in there. We can work on frame tie-ins, get the body squared up with body bushings and everything where it needs to be. I'm done for the day. I've got 20 pounds of pork in the old smokeroonie over there. We got some people showing up at my mother-in-law's to enjoy the pool. It's July 1st. If you're watching this after the 4th, probably is when I'll end up uploading the video. Hopefully you still have all of your digits, and I hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th of July Independence Day holiday. That's all I've got for this one. We're gonna put it to bed and call it a day. Just a reminder, we will be continuing this build series as a hopefully potential entry rig into the 2024 Ultimate Adventure, providing the stars align and everything happens the way it's supposed to. It's very possible we won't get in. No, nonetheless, we're gonna continue to build as if we were going. More motivation than anything. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow along with this series. I hope you enjoy it. And as always, enjoy.